Welcome to the Focolare Word of Life podcast for May 2024. My name is Nick Cianfrani and I'll be your host. In today's episode, we'll be listening to experiences that relate to this month's Word of Life, which says, "Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love." Taken from the first letter of John, chapter 4, verse 8. Before we begin with the stories, I'd like to ask Tom Rowley to share a short reflection on this month's Word of Life. Tom, your monthly introductions help us to focus more clearly on the meaning of the Word of Life. So please go ahead and share that with us now.
Every Christian has in their heart the desire to grow in their relationship with God. We know from our faith that God is love. He can be described in many ways, but each way leads one to the conviction that He is all love. Christ teaches us how to be like His Father. Every act of love given from the heart helps us to be more like Him. The only way to be like God is to travel on the path of love.
Welcome, Robbie. It is a great joy to have you on our podcast today.
Thanks, Nick. I'm really happy to be here.
And the other day we had a little chat and I had asked you a little bit about yourself, and you had told me, and I was not really aware that you have been in many different places.
Yes.
And could you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe where your travels have brought you?
Okay. I'm Irish, born in Dublin. I got to know the Focolare movement in 1975 through my lecturer in university, and became involved with the young people of the Focolare movement in Dublin at the time in the 70s. Then I was invited to have an experience in Cameroon, in Fontem, a center of the Focolare. I was there for 2 years as a teacher, teaching Mattson English. And now the past 4 years, I've been 4 years in Kenya, Nairobi. So that's where I'm talking to you now.
Wonderful. What an exciting adventure. I'm sure you could tell so many stories about your
Well, yes,
travels.
that is true. Yes, it has been exciting and continues to be exciting.
Yes. Well, listen, we would be very happy to hear one of your stories, one of your experiences. We're eager to listen to your story.
Okay, this is a recent one, actually, because at the moment I'm living with a person who is a stroke victim. So he's quite curtailed in his movements, although he's recovering well from the stroke, but he needs a lot of looking after. So he needs someone, for example, to prepare his food in the morning, his breakfast, his lunch, his supper, someone to wash his clothes, someone to iron his clothes, someone to clean his room. And recently, I remember it was about 8 o'clock in the evening. He said he's not feeling so well. So we measured his blood pressure, and it showed up error on the blood pressure machine. So we weren't quite sure what that meant. So just to be sure, I took him to our local doctor, and there the doctor said, blood pressure is very low, very, very low, and he must be taken to hospital immediately. So there, took him to the hospital. From there, arrived in the hospital. By the time he was seen at that stage, it was 1:30 in the morning, and they diagnosed that he needed an immediate operation, and that it would take place that same morning later on at 8 o'clock in the morning, to have a pacemaker inserted. So I went home, got a couple of hours sleep, was back there as he was being taken into the operating theater. Luckily, the operation went very well, and he was there for a few days, again, going to keep him company. Coming back then for the first few weeks, then he was quite weak. and of course had to be cared for. And so that's just a simple example for me that God's love means witnessing to that love to my brother, my sister, right, in a concrete way. And that has been there since I got to know the Focolare movement, the spirituality, I must say, that the meaning in life is to love. And it's not rocket science. It's simply, your brother has a need, whatever it may be, and try to answer the need of my brother. And so that's a little short, but it's an ongoing experience because we are still living in the same house. So it's a constant, and actually it's a wonderful opportunity to have someone actually who needs you, because it's there, you're there all the time, and it's an opportunity. As we say, our brother is a gift for us, because yes. I'm always struck by that sentence in scripture: we pass from death to life because we love the brother or sister. And it's really true. I mean, if I feel spiritually alive, there's no other reason than, well, of course, the gift of God, but that also comes through love for the brother.
Absolutely. And I think the consequences of loving our neighbor is joy, that peace that we experience.
Absolutely.
And
well, I tell you, the very first experience I had, this was the first getting to know the movement. Yes. I peeled potatoes for my mother. Ireland, spuds, we eat a lot of potatoes. So she used to have to peel the potatoes for the whole family. So one morning said, "Mom, can I help you with the potatoes?" Oh, she got a shock. But I felt such joy after peeling the potatoes. So it's begins and ends with simple things like that.
Yes. And I think too, Robbie, that sometimes during our day, trying to live the gospel, sometimes we're thinking, well, let's wait for that big moment where, I need to maybe, save somebody's life, but our life is made up of these little things, of peeling the potato, of serving our neighbor, of being there for the other. And so I think this is a good reminder for us that our day should be filled with many small little acts of love, but that in the end, they truly have the result of giving us joy.
Very true, Nick. Yeah, what you say is very true.
Yes, Robbie, listen, thank you so much for joining us. It has
you're welcome.
A great joy to have you, and it was good catching up. We go back a long way. I mean,
we go back a long way, Nick. Yes.
I think we met the first time in probably in the 80s.
Yes, and as I say, still crazy after all these years, Nick, hey?
Wonderful. Thank you, Robbie. And
okay, Nick.
Wonderful rest
all the
of the
best,
day.
And all the best to the listeners.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Before we dive into our next story, I have a quick but important message for all of you listeners. Each month, we are so delighted to bring you real-life stories of faith in action, but we can't do it alone. This free podcast is supported by our donors. If you have been moved by what you've heard, if you found a glimmer of hope or a spark of joy in our episodes, we urge you to join us in this divine adventure. Consider donating to Focolare Media by visiting our website, focolaremedia.com/donate, and specify that your donation is for the Word of Life podcast. Together, let's continue to inspire thousands of people all over the world, and the Word will become part of our lives. A heartfelt thanks to you and to everyone for your support. Welcome, Stefan. It is a great pleasure to have you on our podcast today.
Thank you very much for having me. I thank God that I have this opportunity. I have been having challenges, with the internet because of floods in my country. But thank God that I have this opportunity to connect with you.
Yes. I know you've had some difficulties. We've been trying to connect for a few days, and we're finally able to. But can you share with our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do?
Well, my name is Stephen Thuo. I am from Kenya. Kenya is in Africa, part of Eastern Africa. And yes, I'm a law student.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And I know that I read your story in the Living City magazine recently, and after having read it, I said, "Wow, this is perfect. This is such a beautiful, inspiring story that I think you should share with all of us." So I leave the microphone with you, and go ahead. We are eager to listen to your experience.
Well, as I said earlier, I like so much volunteering. And this experience that is in the Living City about the visit in the community juvenile is one of the experiences that I have lived in my work of volunteering. And so it happened so easily. We weren't even prepared. So I have a group of friends. We call ourselves the new generation, or in short, we like calling ourselves the Gen 2. We are just young people trying to live the unity and trying to see how we can, we can be together, we can live in peace and harmony. And we decided in our calendar of events, we need to do an activity. So they approached me and they asked me, "Oh, Stefan, what do you think we should do this year?" I was surprised. I didn't know what to do. I was thinking, oh my God, we have gone to the children home. We have done like everything already. So what are we supposed to do this time? So when I was thinking, something came into my mind. I remembered one of my community members, small child, below 18 years, and he did a mistake and he was arrested and he was taken to somewhere called juvenile. I asked myself, but what do they do here? They are children. If it is somebody like me, when I'm arrested, basically, that I'm going to prison. But for kids, it's basically another story. So I decided, let me go and visit this community juvenile and I'll see what is a community juvenile. So for those who don't know what is community juvenile is a custody, is a correction facility where those children, let me call them children, who have not yet reached 18 years and they commit a mistake against the constitution or they break the law, is where they are taken so that they can be corrected, they can be separated away from other people so that they can change their behavior. It is like we can put it like a prison for 18 and below. I know in this facility they also continue learning. It's called they have a Boston school, and so when I went there, I found the way they were living. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if many of you can picture it. Sleeping on the floor. The floor is not that good. And also, you're not alone. You are more than 5 in one small, tiny room. You can just imagine. And you don't have washrooms. There is only buckets there where that place where you are. And I asked them, those who are managing them, what can we do? What can we do to help this situation? Because they were saying, okay, the government does not, we depend on the government, but if the government does not give us funds, we have nothing to do. And I told myself, we need to do something. We need to be the change. And I went back to my friends and I told them, I've gone there and the situation was not that good. We need to take clothes and bed sheets and anything that we can find to those people so that they can feel also that they belong to us. They belong to our country. They also belong. They're also human beings. And we decided to write a letter. I personally wrote the letter to many organizations. And one particular organization, I will not mention all, but this particular organization really stand up with us. It's called the Focolare movement. It's a community where people try to live, to stay together, to create also harmony and peace. It is in my country, and well, it's a religious organization, not religious, but I particularly deal with the religious. So, and I took this letter to them, and they were also really touched with what we want to do. So they really came up and spreading the news that we need this group need donation, and in 7 days we had really a lot of donation, clothes, bed sheets, mattresses, books. People even brought books, which was really amazing because they see these kids need also to continue with their education. It was really amazing, and yeah. So what really struck me when we went to take these things to the juvenile, it was how the kids welcome us when they saw us approaching the gate. They ran to us very fast and to receive these gifts because they don't have anyone else to give them these clothing, these foods. They are still waiting for the government, and the government does not provide enough for them because government consider them as those people who have broken the law already. But we as the young people, they are also young like us. We can be having an age difference, but we are all young people, and it is really amazing to see how they really appreciated with we really created a unity. And also to us, it was really also a moment to come back together as a group, also to create this unity and working together, because how we work together in this whole process of collecting the donation, taking them to the juvenile, talking to the organizations, talking to people, to friends, it also created unity, and we really saw that we did something that impacted our community, that impacted also us, and it was really an amazing experience for me actually.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am so edified to see your efforts together with the other young people, and I'm sure that it had a big impact on all the young people. It had a big impact, and I'm sure that they will remember you. They will remember you for sure. Welcome, Almie. It's so nice to have you on our podcast today.
Well, I'm very, very happy to be here, Nick, and thank you for this invitation.
And thanks for accepting. I know that you're very busy and have many things, but you took the time to spend a few minutes with us. And when I read your experience, I couldn't help but see the suffering that you experienced through this experience that you're about to share. But also at the end, I was edified to read how that resurrection aspect of it was there. And I won't say what part of your experience is, but I know I'll leave it up to you to say, because I thought it was a beautiful ending. But before you do share it, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I'm Almie Latimore. I am from San Antonio, Texas. I live here now, but originally I am from the Philippines. I came to Texas to teach little kids, elementary, and I'm still doing it until now.
Wonderful. Thanks for that. Well, we would be very happy to hear your experience now.
All right. So on July 26th of 2022, almost 2 years ago from then, I lost my husband from cancer. Everything seemed to have crumbled in my life, and I was beyond devastated. I begged God to heal him and give him more time to serve his people through his ministry in the Baptist church, as he was a minister and deacon in the Baptist church and also as a professor. But he had a different plan. God had a different plan. Amidst my tremendous suffering, I felt abandoned by the Father. I did not feel his love for me. But soon, I was reminded of Jesus, who embraced the cross. And as a Christian, I had to do the same and utter, "Into thy hand I commend my spirit," and trust that God loves me immensely and that he will always be with me. I felt that God sent many, many people, friends, family, co-workers, who surrounded me and comforted me during that time. Right after my husband's funeral, I had to travel to the Philippines to see my mom, who suffered from a massive stroke. I had to leave my new job and risk losing it when I got back. But my unceasing prayers continued, thinking that everything was a gift from God. When I got back, my boss kept my job for me. It was a great providence. Although my mom is unable to recover from the stroke, her great suffering in her hospital bed for over 2 years now teaches me humility. I feel God's presence even amidst my tears. I may have lost my loving husband, my provider, but God, the provider, provides everything, including little things. Just like last Valentine's Day, when all my roses in my garden were pruned, I found one bloom from a newly planted rose just when I never expected any flowers. Indeed, this grieving process may take long, but His presence, the love of God, makes it lighter.
Thank you for sharing
because
that.
God is always there. That's the thing, that I believe that He is always there for me, for all of us. So
yes, wonderful. Thanks
Thank you.
again. Thank you, Almie, for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. And we'll keep each other in our prayers.
Yes. Thank you.
So thank you for joining us today. I hope you've been inspired by the wonderful stories shared. I look forward to being with you again next month. To listen to a reflection and a commentary on the Word of Life, just log on to your favorite podcast platform and look for Focolare Word of Life podcast. There you will be able to listen to previous episodes. I invite you to join me each month for new episodes. You can also read additional experiences in Living City magazine. Please consider making a donation to Focolare Media so that we can continue producing inspiring podcasts. Visit give.focolare.us and look for the Focolare Media tab. Thank you in advance for your support. Bye for now, and God bless.